Hey everybody, what's going on? It's Tim again, back with another episode of the Thrash and Throttle podcast. Before I get into it, I want to say thank you again to everybody that's listened over the last couple weeks and has hit me up being super stoked on what we're doing. This is something that I never really thought would really get off the ground just because I've had the idea for years, but it just never came to fruition. Now that I finally have the time to do it and everybody seems to be real happy with it, I'm glad that I finally hunkered down and stuck with it. I want to send a big shout out to Zeus Beard, Hardcore Grooming Products, and Mad Viking for sending me care packages. I posted up on Instagram the fact that I hated a lot of marketing campaigns from most male grooming product companies and most beard oil companies. And they sent me out product, and honestly, these guys seem super cool. So shout out to those three companies for making absolutely amazing products. If you want to check out any of their stuff, I'm going to be posting about them on my Instagram all week, so don't forget to follow your boy. It's just at I am Tim Howley, and also follow the Thrash and Throttle page on Instagram as well. A little news on the Tombstone hardware front. We do have a lot of stuff starting to be shipped out, so everybody should be getting their packages sometime soon. All of this coronavirus bullshit kind of threw a wrench in the works, so I apologize for late shipping and all that stuff, but hey man, it fucking happens. We also have a couple new designs coming out, as well as Thrash and Throttle designs, so be on the lookout for that. I'll definitely be posting previews and shit on our Instagram stories, as well as our regular feed. I've also been working around the clock on leather items like belts and wallet lanyards and shit like that, keychains, so that shit should be up on the store as well sometime in the near future. Before I start flapping my fucking gums too much and get carried away, let's get into my guest. Most of you guys know Tony from being the winner on Inkmaster Season 11, but I've known this dude for well over a decade. We met back in 2008 at a festival that we both played for a label that we were both signed to. Whenever we rolled through Reno, unfortunately it wasn't often, but Tony would always come hang out, and obviously we've kept in touch since then. Not only has this dude proven himself to be at the top of his game in the tattooing world, he also knows what he's talking about when it comes to cars and bikes. So let's get into it. My man, how are you?
I've been better. I've been worse.
Hey man, it is what it is.
You know, I'd be lying if I was like, "Oh yeah, everything's good." Like, nah, everything kind of fucking sucks right now.
At least you're alive.
Yeah, 100%.
You guys just reopened. What was it, a couple weeks ago or last week, right?
Nah, we're still not opened.
No shit.
Yeah, dude, I've been out of work for almost 3 months now.
Holy fuck, dude. I thought Nevada was one of the states that reopened.
No, they started like reopening like other things, but like they're doing these fucking bullshit phases, and we're not included in any of them.
Yeah, dude, tattoo shops are fucking gonna be last on the list.
Which is fucking absurd, to be honest. Like, you know, fucking Christ, man. I see more dirtier pieces of shit in the fucking gas station than anything.
Oh, 100%. But obviously they're like, oh, well, gas is an essential need and, you know, all that shit. So,
Yeah, I get it.
you know, just to control people a little bit more, you know.
Yeah, for sure.
Dude, listen, man, New York has been awful with it. People are just idiots, man.
Yeah, I've heard New York's been a little fucking weird. All my friends are, even like people from the show, are like, everyone's out of work.
Yeah, dude. I mean, obviously everything's closed out here still. You know, you have grocery stores and other places that are deemed essential that they're kind of allowing to be open. But
Yeah.
other than that, there's kind of like no end in sight for when everything's going to go back to normal.
Yeah, I think New York is gonna. I bet you it'd be like to the end of the year until everything is like kind of normal again.
Oh yeah, it's kind of wild how much larger it got over here and how fast it spread over here. Because you think about it, it's, you know, I mean, New York City, it's like a rat's nest. Everybody is on top of each other. Everybody interacts with hundreds of people a day. So,
Yeah, it's kind of inevitable, to be honest.
oh yeah. Well, I was talking to this girl yesterday doing an interview, and she's like, oh, well, nobody really saw this coming. And I turned around. I was like, everybody saw it coming. If you think about it, we had video games about this stuff.
Dude,
we have legit video games about it.
It's been fucking referenced in the fucking Bible for who knows how long, So like even though the Bible's bullshit, someone at one point was like, there's going to be a fucking plague.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we're past due, to be honest.
I mean, if you think about it, you had, the Spanish flu epidemic. You had the swine flu. This has happened multiple times. And unfortunately, now it's kind of resting on our shoulders and kind of fucking us up.
Yeah, it really fucking is, though.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I have no idea when I'm going to be able to go back out on tour. Honestly, this is the first time since 2007 that I literally don't know when I'm going to be on tour next.
Yeah, dude, you've been on tour since we hung out in Ohio, like what, 2008?
Dude, yes, pretty much. Like maybe about a year before that. I want to say we formally met at 7th Dagger Fest in I think it was technically Covington, Kentucky.
It was
at the Mad Hatter.
Yeah, you had Nikes in your fucking fanny pack.
Oh, fuck yes, I did. And everybody looked at me like I was the biggest asshole in the room, and I definitely was.
I gravitate towards assholes.
Dude, listen, man, I'm the same way. Yeah, dude, it was a long time ago, man. It's a long time ago. When you think about it, like all the straight edge festivals and stuff like that even before I was in The World We Knew, it's like I would still go with them to do merch and, go out to Ohio for Edge Fest and upstate New York for Edge Fest and stuff like that. So It's kind of funny that now, so many years later, both of us are still killing it and doing well on our own.
Well, you have to evolve at one point, like everyone relies on that fucking first big break. And it's like, I see things as stepping stones,
I am the same way, dude.
That's it. Everything's a stepping stone to the next thing if you play your fucking cards right.
Yeah, dude, it has to be like that. When you think about it, everything that you do is the next step towards either the rest of your life or the next step business-wise or so on and so forth.
Dude, I tell everyone all the fucking time, they're like, what's your secret? I'm like, while you sit at home waiting for something to fucking happen, I go out there and I fucking make it happen. There's a difference between manifesting your own destiny and actually doing it and then just fucking daydreaming, hoping it comes to you. Like, that shit don't fucking come to you, and it never will.
Exactly. And thinking about it, watching you evolve from us hanging out, like you said, at Daggerfest in 2007 and doing the band thing, and then transitioning and getting big in the tattoo scene, and then doing Inkmaster and doing all this stuff. And now it's so sick to see friends go from these small things and turn those stepping stones into these mountains of, either success or popularity or so on and so forth. I love it.
Well, it's the same with your music career. It evolved from, playing Covington, Kentucky to now you're selling out fucking Europe left and right with major bands that I grew up listening to.
It's definitely a weird thing for me because when you think about where we came from, it's kind of cool to see what that turned into. Yeah,
it really is. And I noticed a lot of different people in our group, not necessarily like our friends in general, but like I probably have a couple people. I consider our group just the old 7th Dagger shit.
Yeah, of course.
A handful of them are doing pretty fucking good too, man. Like they all did different bands, different careers, got married, had kids. Like it's pretty rad.
Well, for me, it's kind of weird because I didn't really talk to anybody else besides you and maybe 2 or 3 other people from that era, and I didn't really stay in contact with anybody. And I think it was more because I wasn't ever really involved in the straight edge scene. I wasn't really involved in the hardcore scene because I was a metal dude. Yeah. I was involved in the local hardcore scene for me because I loved hardcore bands, but on the grand scheme of things, I wasn't really involved in being friends with that many people in that world. So for me, you're one dude that I kept in touch with. Obviously, I kept in touch with Frank because I was in the band with him forever, and he actually says hi because I talked to him today.
Tell him I said hello, or he's gonna probably hear this. What up, Frank?
Will do, will do. And yeah, maybe like, I don't know, 2 or 3 other people, but I didn't really talk to anybody else, or I didn't really keep in touch with anybody else just because we never either vibed together or we never kind of became friends like that.
Yeah, I feel you, man. Like same here. I was always that lowrider hardcore kid. Didn't
Of
I didn't I
course.
didn't, I didn't really belong anywhere because I liked metal, I liked hardcore, I like lowriders, I like everything. I like choppers. So I've always kind of just dabbled and just eventually at one point I was like, yeah, you know what? I'm gonna like all these things and just be myself. And if the people are still around, fucking those are the ones I'll holler at.
Well, that's one part of finding yourself as a dude. Honestly, people don't really find themselves until, their late 20s, early
Yeah,
30s. Like, you're kind of trying to figure out who you are as a person because, either certain people like this, certain people like that, and you don't want to either step on toes, or you don't want to seem like you're a douche because you like a certain thing or you don't. And then once you get into your mid to late 20s, you realize, well, fuck everybody else. I'm going to like what I like. And if they like me because of that, then cool. If they don't like me because I still listen to either this music, or I like choppers, or I like this, that, then fuck them.
yeah, no sweat off my sack, dude.
Dude, 100%. But I don't know. It's like I said, it's seeing people succeed and do really cool shit. I thrive off of that shit. And honestly, you're fucking killing it. I
Thanks, man.
see, even though the shop is shut for the time being, you're still keeping the hustle alive. You're still keeping active. You're still doing things. So it's way different.
I'm forever hustling, dude. I always got something going. I don't, like I said, the hustle doesn't stop. I don't fucking wait for people to pay my mortgage during a fucking viral pandemic.
Yeah, well, that's part of that DIY touring mentality that a lot of people don't think about.
Nah,
That's something that we had to do. We had to fucking, fend for ourselves while we were out on tour, and that's it. Nobody was gonna help us do certain shit. Nobody was gonna feed us. Like, maybe we had friends that fed us, but we had to go out and fucking feed ourselves.
yeah, when shit hit the fan, we didn't have no GoFundmes. We didn't
No,
have shit,
dude.
and we lived. And then if someone wanted to hear the band, we had to physically put a CD in their hand.
Dude, the amount of times that we've had to go into the trailer and say, "Yo, dude, listen to my band," or "Hey, this is us," blah 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 blah.
Yeah, I've been there. Fuck.
Dude, yeah, exactly. We could talk about that for days, but realistically, this podcast is about music. It's about motorcycles and all that shit. So, what got you into bikes? Like, I that's what I want to know, because we never talked about that shit.
So what got me into bikes was when I was a kid, like we were super fucking poor and all my friends had fucking go-karts and shit that made you go far away from where you wanted to be. You
Yeah,
know. Unfortunately for me, I was stuck and I had an awful childhood, so I could never escape. And as soon as I could fucking get something with wheels, I was gone.
that's awesome.
And then that turned into fucking bikes. And then I started getting really bored and building out these fucking tricked out fucking drag scooters. And then at one point I'm like, well, fuck, might as well start building some fucking Harleys because it looks fun. Like I don't have a chopper background like a dad that loved choppers or anything. Like I had to get into it kind of like on my own and go discover people that were into it.
I remember when you were doing the ruckus thing, and like, I thought that shit was super cool because I didn't know anybody else that was doing that. I
Yeah.
didn't know anybody else that was ripping around on these crazy tricked out scooters.
I loved it, man. I still do, but yeah, man. And then that one thing once I got my first Iron Head and I just was hooked, and I've been hooked on Harley since. Like I always tell people, like fucking tattooing and Harleys, man. That will always be a constant in my life, and I'll never give either up for anyone.
Man, my first bike was an Ironhead, and I never got to ride it because the motor on the bike was so fucked.
Yep.
Dude, I remember I was on tour, and my dad called me because originally I said, "Hey, I wanted to get into bikes," and he was like, "Look, put up half of the cash, I'll put up the other half, and we'll get you a bike." So I gave him, I think it was like $1,000 or something like that, and he bought a Sporty. I think he bought it for like 1,700, 1,800, some shit like that. And we worked on this thing for 6 months. I never got to fucking ride it. And while I was on tour, he hit me up and he's like, I got bad news and good news. What do you want first? I'm like, always, I'm like, give me the bad news. I sold your bike. I'm like, what the fuck? I'm losing my mind. And he's like, do you want the good news? I go, sure. Well, I bought you another one. So he sold the 1980 Ironhead Sporty for $2,800, and then he bought a 2002 Sporty with like 25,000 miles on it for 2,300, something like that.
Those motors are fucking bulletproof. I don't give a fuck what anyone says. I love old like Evo Sporty motors. I love them.
They're amazing. They're absolutely amazing. I'm so bummed that I got rid of mine. I mean, I got a shovel out of it, which is cool, but I just picked up a I just picked up a 99 Evo Sporty for my chick. So she's gonna hop on that thing and rip around with us. So it should be a lot of fun.
Dude, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's when you think about it, those Sporties, like you said, they're bulletproof. They're one of the best bikes ever made.
Yeah, that's one of the first motors I ever split a case on, and it was super easy to put everything back together. At least for me, it was, because my mind can break stuff down and retain information.
I'm the same way.
And it was pretty fucking easy. So that's after that, like everyone else, I started going, getting something bigger, and then I went to my cone shovel, and then I built that. And I mean, obviously, the motor I had built by my buddy Pete at Goodspeed, just because I'm sure you'll agree. Like I like to build as much as I can, but certain things need to be done by people that's their life, that's their career.
My man, I do not know the first thing about rebuilding the bottom end of a fucking motor. No way.
Like I know how to put it back together, but then a lot of those years just have this year these went bad, so you got to swap them. Oh, the case exploded on these years, and there's just a lot of knowledge that you can't fucking get unless that's what you do every day. So like all my pans, fucking, I get those built properly by, like, Reed has one of them.
That's sick.
Yeah, and we split the cases at his shop, and we got down the nitty gritty. Like, he taught me how to disassemble that thing and like what to look for. Just so I can know my machine. But realistically, like, I'd rather just have him put his hands on putting it back together.
Of course. I mean, I have my dude out at shop by me. My dad's bike was built by this dude, the motor was rebuilt by this guy. And my dad's had that motor for about 10 years at that point, if not longer. And it's bulletproof. Like, my dad has an 80 shovel head that he put up to a 93 inch. And this guy, Dennis, at a local shop called East Coast Superbikes, I can't tell you, man, the work that he does, it's very by the book. And the guy just knows. He's been doing it for 40 fucking years.
Dude, yeah, it's it's the same with Reed, man. When we were like, he knew specs and really what to look for, like parts that I would have just slapped on. He made me measure them 3 or 4 times. Then we had to hone them. Then we had to size them up, hone them again until they were like within like thousands of inches.
Oh yeah, people don't realize how much really goes into stuff like that.
No, and and if you half-ass something, it's a cause and effect. One thing is going to start making this, faulty, and then that thing's going to make that faulty, and before you know, it's catastrophic.
Dude, I was taking the forward controls off of Claudia's Sporty, and just looking at how certain people do things. I mean, I know you've felt my pain when, you get a bike and you start tinkering and you start looking at the bike and looking it over, and just thinking to yourself, what the fuck did they do to this bike?
Yep.
And, I looked at these forward controls, and I don't know if it was the girl that had the bike before us or whatever, but I'm looking how the forward controls were put on, and, the bolts are different sizes, the nuts are different sizes. One's a hex bolt, one is an Allen head, and the Allen head and the nut, one's standard and one's metric. I'm like, what the fuck are you guys doing?
Dude, no one can just get a fucking bolt kit and just do it right.
Yeah, nah. It's, finding that deal on a set of bolts. It's like that's more important than just going online saying, okay, this is the hardware I need. I can order it in a fucking kit and let me put that on. Let me do it the right way.
Yeah, no, I think a lot of people, and I've been guilty of it, like when they first get into shit, they overdo it and they really don't take their steps and they just fuck everything up. So they
Oh, for
get
sure.
really overconfident, I think.
I was saying this the other day about the FXR that I just got. The guy that had it, that originally did all the work to it, he spared no expense when it came to the cool guy parts. But as soon as it came down to the small parts and the things that actually made the bike run properly, he cheaped the fuck out. So, it had Fox shocks, it had a Saddleman seat, it had LED headlight and tail light, like super, super expensive shit. And then, for bolts and stuff, same thing. He was using metric bolts with standard nuts and shit. And I'm like, guy, what are you doing? This is a 40-cent fix. Why are you skimping on pennies? I never understand it.
When you build those bikes, you want all the bolts to, try to match as much as possible so your tool roll is a lot smaller.
Yes. People don't
like
get
all my
that.
pans, my shovels, I do this thing where like when I put them back together, I use the tools in my tool roll so I can know what's going to work with what bike. And I have special tool rolls to each bike, and all the bolts are like fucking damn near identical. If not, I drill them out. Like I make sure fender bolts and shit are the same size as almost everything else if possible.
Oh yeah, my buddy Nick is the same way. He won't build a bike with, 40 different bolt sizes. He's just going to build a bike with the same bolt sizes, with the same nut sizes, same thing throughout the whole bike. So like you said, his tool roll, he only needs a 7/16, half inch, 9/16, and a 5/8, and
Boom, there
then
you go.
maybe 2 or 3 Allen heads.
Yeah.
That's it. Done and done.
Done and done.
So wait, I don't know if I heard this correctly before. Did you say panheads as in plural?
Yeah, I have two of them. I have two 48s.
Fuck, that's awesome. I knew you had one. I didn't know about the other one.
Yeah, I check this out, dude. So I got one in a little bit. I'd say about maybe 5 months later. My buddy here in town, really cool chopper, dude. I bounce a lot of information off of him, but he knows I love panheads, and he came up on a motor basket case, but it was a complete motor, two sets of heads, balanced SNS flywheels, everything was there, matching cases, clean title, and he sold me everything for $3,500.
No shit. Wow.
Yeah, so then I took all that shit down to Goodspeed, and he's actually putting that motor together right now. And then the one Reed has, that's going into my my chopper because that one has a Bonneville case.
That's sick.
So yeah, I'm putting all matching 48 shit in my actual 48 frame, and then the Bonneville case panhead's gonna go in the chopper.
So are you gonna do the 48, the basket? You gonna do that all original?
Close. I mean, I'm doing a different seat. Like it's not gonna be as original, but and that $3,500 included a transmission too.
That's sick.
Yeah, dude. So now I have a 48 frame, matching belly, 48 pan with all correct parts, and then the matching tranny too. So all of it's 48 and it's papered 48.
Fuck, that's awesome. Yeah, my dad had a 48 that he sold not recently, maybe about a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, that he was going to build in a kind of like a chopper frame, but the 58 that he had was the one that I actually got to ride around. That's the one that he actually completed. Dude, that thing was a blast to rip around on. All 58 horsepower of it.
Dude, they're fun, man. I love my FXR and I love ripping that thing, but man, something about just being
that thing's
chopper,
fucking
dude.
insane.
I got that from the same dude. He fucking picked it up, and it's a 1991 FXRS. Fucking hasn't ran since 2004, and he sold to me for $4,500.
No shit. That's awesome.
Yeah, dude. Fucking dual disc upgrades, and then from there, I just, fucking did what I do. Fucking, I punched up the fucking the suspension. The motor had very low miles, so I'm just gonna kind of ride it and wait till something bad happens, and then have an excuse to really do some work.
Yeah, dude. A lot of people will just take bikes like that, even though they're great running bikes. They're like, well, I want to punch it out. I want to do this. I want to do, and they do motor work when it doesn't necessarily need it.
A lot of the times, I feel like they just punch out a fucking bike and get, just to swing their fucking dick around. You
Of
know, like
course.
there's only, I mean, there's dudes that I know that punch out their bikes, but ride them like they're punched out. You know, and I'm not gonna ride my FXR like a fucking heathen. Like I ride, you know, I ride fun, but I'm also trying to fucking not die that day.
I was talking to my buddy about this, and I'm not that dude that rides fast. I can't because one, I don't want to die. Two, I'm not a speed demon. I'm not that dude. I'm not that guy that seeks that thrill. So for me, I'm a slow and low guy. That's why I loved my shovel so much. And even though it was a 98 inch and it had the bottom end to it and had the power to it, I only really used it when I needed it.
Yeah.
And my idea for motorcycles, or my thought process was, especially when I was in my early 20s, was how are girls going to see me if I'm going 90 miles an hour? So, now, like I said on the last podcast, it's a little bit different. I'm all shacked up and I'm super stoked on that. But, it's kind of funny when everybody's going super fast and I'm bobbing along on a fucking 58 pan doing 40 miles an hour looking like a badass.
Yeah, no, dude, I'm with you, man. I just low and slow, dude. Like Crowbar said, tune low, play slow.
Dude, you're goddamn right. Well, I mean, listen, you're into the lowrider scene as well. Like, you're all about that shit too. And that's something that I've always had an appreciation for. Like, I used to subscribe to Lowrider magazine when I was a kid. And I always loved stuff like that. Like, a 64 Impala, to me, is like cream of the crop when it comes to that shit. So,
Yeah, yeah,
you're involved in that scene, which I think is fucking sick.
yeah, dude. I've been building lowrider bikes since I was a little kid. You know, I was into lowriders before anything. Like, so I've always had a background with it, and then just grew into the cars when I could start driving. And I've had multiple cars, but my Impala is my baby right now.
That thing is fucking sweet, man. And I mean, I don't have to say it. That thing's out of control. My buddy's dad has a lot of classic cars. The dude probably has about 15, 20 cars like that. And they're not fully done up like yours is, but he has an appreciation for all that stuff. So seeing his cars and then looking at your Impala, and I'm like, oh, fuck, that thing is sick.
Yeah, it's pretty rad.
So besides the panheads, you don't still have that Dyna that you had, right? The red Dyna?
No, I fucking once I got my FXR, fucking there was no need for a dyno.
Listen, I agree. I'm in the same boat. I'm definitely in
And
the
I
same boat.
used to be like FXR, big whoop, like it's a fucking bike. And then when I rode my FXR, like it's no, like you could legit tell the difference.
100%.
So yeah, I just mobbed my FXR. So now I just have my two pan heads and my FXR. That's it.
Yeah, dude. I recently picked up this. It's an '84 FXRP, and it has a 91 drivetrain in it. So the thing's super clean. It runs like a champ. But I want to put it back to how my old FXR was, because I had an '82 FXR shovel motor. It kind of ran like shit. So my original plan was just to strip it, put an Evo motor in it, and build it back up and sell my shovel. And this dude came out of nowhere and was like, "Hey, I have this FXR for sale, but if you want to trade for your shovel, I'm definitely down." And that's how I got this thing. And honestly, I'm so glad to have an FXR again. And like you said, like, just because it's an FXR doesn't mean I'm cool or anything like that. It's not, a status thing, but fuck, man, they just ride so nice.
Yeah.
It's undeniable.
Yeah, you just feel like you're in control the whole time.
100%. But what's next project wise besides the panheads? Are you thinking about getting into any other car shit?
I mean, I'm always trying to get into something,
I
like
feel you, man.
I really shouldn't take any other like any other projects, but if the right one falls in my lap, I'm gonna do it.
Oh, of course. Project wise, you always need something to wrench on.
Yeah, well, especially in the winter, that's my thing. So I build a new bike every winter.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah, and then after I build it, I ride it to Mexico.
Oh, for the El Diablo run?
Yeah, so my last two builds, I've taken to EDR. So the one I'm gonna finish up now is gonna go with me next year.
Damn, dude. That's definitely something that I need to do in the near future.
Dude, it's a good fucking time, man. What you need to do is just fly out here, and then you can just rip one of my Pans or my FXR, and we just go.
Man, you don't have to fucking tell me twice. I am in. I always see pictures and videos from that run and everybody having a good time hanging out on the beach. And we don't get that stuff up by New York, obviously. You know, New York's not that tropical.
Yeah,
So,
it's fucking dope, man. And like from the it's only like 3 hours from the border. So, and it's like a pretty straight shot. And then we stop at the, different gas stations and we hang out, fucking eat food, taco stands everywhere. And then when you get to San Felipe, it's like just comes out of nowhere and you just see the sea on the left. And you literally ride up to the sand and it's just a whole beach block, like taco stands, fucking choppers, like anything. And everything's fucking cheap. The food is good. And it's a fucking party, dude.
now, is everybody camping down there or is it all hotels?
Most people sleep on the beach. Others sleep in the palapas, and then you park your bike under, and then you go upstairs, and it's like a second story tent,
That's sick.
and you just sleep in a hammock because it's like 65 degrees all day and all night.
Holy shit.
Yeah, dude. But then there's also close by. There's like you can rent little rooms. You can do a lot of different shit.
I figured it would have been a little bit hotter.
It will get a little hot, but like you're lit. Like the sea is 20 feet away from you the whole time. So it's nice and cool. And then at night, dude, it's just fucking insane. Like you can just walk the beach and you just see sharks just jumping out of the water, getting birds. Like it's fucking insane.
That's fucking wild, man. I got to get my ass down there and hang the fuck out.
Well, you got 1 year.
When do they usually do it?
Every 2 years in May.
Okay.
So it didn't happen this year. It's going to happen next year. And I have a feeling it's going to be insane next year.
That's sick. Yeah, I mean, especially with everybody itching to get out and get back on their bikes and do the thing and do the social thing.
Yeah.
It's definitely something that people are going to be looking forward to. I think most motorcycle events are going to have a big surge after this.
Yeah. I think Born Free is going to be fucking nutty too.
Yeah, because, I mean, realistically, it's probably not going to go down this year.
Well, it got rescheduled to September.
Oh, it did? No shit.
Yeah, because I usually get a booth every year. So this year they said they're going to push it to September, which kind of sucks because it's going to be fucking hot down there. And
Yeah.
and yeah, so hopefully that doesn't get canceled. But I mean, if shit keeps going the way it is, like if there's no improvement, that's definitely probably not going to happen.
Fuck, man. Yeah, it's for every event that's supposed to be on the East Coast, everybody's just kind of dipping out and saying, hey, see you next year.
Yeah, and like, can you blame them?
No, of course, of course. This is something that came out of nowhere, so everybody's kind of in that mentality of, all right, we have to rebuild, we have to figure out how to work around it. So I think it's definitely going to play a big part in the next couple of years for motorcycle events.
Yeah. You know what's crazy though, with like how many people are out of work? People are still spending money like it's no tomorrow.
Dude, it's wild. But I also think that's because of, the stimulus money and the unemployment shit. Like New York, when it comes to unemployment, people are getting paid way more to stay at home than they are to go back to work.
Yeah, same here. Everyone's like, fuck work. I'm making double.
Yeah, dude, there's a couple people that I know that their regular jobs were around $500 to $600 a week. They're clearing $1,000 a week right now, being on unemployment until whenever the pandemic assistance runs out. Dude, imagine being able to sit home and make $1,000 and not have a job. Period.
Dude, that's insane.
Yeah, it's wild. So people in turn are spending money because they have nothing better to do.
I get it. Like the stimulus, I get it. It makes perfect sense.
Oh, for sure. I especially with the leather stuff and doing all that shit, people have been hitting me up left and right because they're realizing that small businesses are hurting from this, and they're like, "Yo, how do I support? I got all this fucking free money. Let me get on it."
Yeah.
And the same thing with touring musicians. Everybody's seeing touring musicians hurt from this. So, they're just turning around saying, hey, let me throw money at you.
Yeah, yeah, get a web store up. Let me buy a record or a shirt or something.
Yeah, dude, we sold all of our tour merch in like 4 days.
Damn.
It was wild. We had an entire tour laid out for merch because the first day of our tour with Thy Art, it was supposed to be a full US. The first day it got canceled.
Who was all on the tour?
It was us, Thy Art is Murder, Aversion's Crown, Enterprise Earth, and this band Un Misery from Iceland.
Oh, sweet.
Dude, 2 bands flew from Australia, 1 band flew from Iceland to do this tour. The first day of the tour, they were like, "Yeah, go home."
Damn.
Yeah, it was definitely fucked. It went from bad to the absolute worst in the course of 4 hours.
Yeah, and I'm sure they were real excited to come play the States too.
Oh yeah, a lot of those bands don't really get over here often. So for them, they get here, they spend all this money to get here, thousands and thousands of dollars, and then they show up and they're like, "Yeah, well, you got to go home."
Yeah.
So luckily most of the bands were able to recover somewhat, but there's still a lot of bands that are fucking shit out of luck and like shit out on hundreds of thousands of dollars. Like all those big summer festival runs or, big summer runs that are supposed to hit amphitheaters and stadiums and arenas and shit. Dude, the amount of promotion and the amount of money that went out for them to recoup, and now they can't recoup it because the tour's not going to happen. Like legit millions of dollars.
Well, and a lot of those dudes, like the big metal bands, when they play those festivals, like that one festival, they're good for a couple months.
Oh,
You
yeah.
know, it's good fucking money.
There's bands that I know that will go to Europe for summer festival runs. They will play probably 5 festivals and maybe 10 off dates, and they'll come home with $40,000 to $50,000.
Yeah,
And then they
dude.
go back to their houses in the Midwest that cost maybe $600 a month, and they have their rent for the year. They have their money, their whole salary was made in that 3 weeks. And now because of that, or because of this, they can't do that.
Yeah, dude, fuck, man.
It's definitely a weird time, learning how to adapt. Like I said before, that's something that you and I are kind of used to.
Yeah,
We are forced to do that.
well, I just don't get like when things get shitty, like why fester? Okay, guess what? It's not gonna change. So new plan. What's next?
Oh yeah. You have to evolve. You have to mold to your surroundings. And a lot of bands don't realize that because they get so complacent with certain things and they're like, "Fuck, what do I do?" Whereas guys that came from a DIY scene that literally had to do everything themselves, it's easier for them to kind of figure out a course of action.
Yeah, well, no one fucking waits for you, you know? You just gotta fucking do it, not be a pussy about it.
Yeah, you just gotta fucking, for lack of a better term, pull up your fucking bootstraps and,
Yep.
put boots on the fucking ground and get to work.
Get to work.
With this time, dude, I've been doing so much leather shit and then, doing the podcast, getting Tombstone back on track, doing stuff with all of my sponsors for the music shit. Honestly, man, I'm literally running myself so thin, but I love it because I'm not just being stagnant.
Yeah, dude, that's like my biggest fear and my pet peeve is being stagnant. I can't do it, man, and I gotta be surrounded by people who are the same way, or else I lose my fucking mind because I just sit there and think, how are you not trying to do something today? Like,
Yeah, people get complacent.
yeah, dude, and that's cool. You want to live your life like that, that's fine, but that shit ain't for me, and it never will be.
It can't be. It's not in our genes. It's that hustle gene, man.
And fuck, choppers ain't cheap either, you know?
You're fucking telling me. I'm looking at the Moto Gadget M Unit Blue and the full wiring harness and all this shit. Dude, that shit ain't cheap, bro.
No, wiring harnesses are never cheap though.
Well, the wires itself for the kit is only like $80. I'm like, this ain't bad. But the M unit that basically it's instead of your breakers and all the shit that goes on the side cover or underneath the side cover on your FXR, It
Uh-huh.
is one box that controls the whole thing. It's controlled by your smartphone. So if one of your wires or one of your blinkers or your start button, if one of those goes bad, it lets you know on your phone. It's one of the best things that I've ever seen. It's wild.
Dude, I've never like I've seen it, but I didn't really get into depth with it. And like I've been considering rewiring my FXR.
Dude, if you're going to do it, Moto Gadget M Unit Blue and just spend the fucking money. I mean,
How much
realistically, a
is it?
full setup is going to cost you probably about $700-800 for.
Oh, that's not too bad.
Yeah, it's not that bad, but the features that come on this thing, I'll send it to you. It cleans up all of your wiring. You don't have the 4 breakers underneath there. You don't have, your fucking your light bullshit and this and that. It just cleans everything up.
Now, how reliable is it?
Oh, dude, I've never seen any problems with it. Anybody that I ever ask about it, especially in the FXR Facebook groups and stuff like that, those dudes love them.
Damn, I'm gonna have to look it up because I've been considering doing a new harness and just fucking spending the dough and getting a fucking Electron for it.
Yeah, dude, it's definitely worth it. I mean, if you want to, you can go for the full electronic dash, I guess you would say,
Oh,
all the gauges and stuff. They have, I forget what it's called. It's just one little dash piece, and it's your speedo, your tack, all of your lights, and it tells you everything.
damn. I'm gonna have to fucking look it up.
It's a sick setup, and it's one of those things that I looked at for FXRs a while back because I wanted to do it on my 82, and it's been on my list forever. So that's something that I'm definitely gonna work towards. And if I have the cash once all this shit is said and done, I'm gonna get on that.
Yeah, I think we're both gonna do it at the same time.
Fucking party time, dude. We'll post up twinning pictures.
Right? The most expensive twinning.
Dude, it's kind of crazy how much FXR parts go for when you're really looking for oddball shit. Like, I want an I want an Arlen Ness kickstand, the one that attaches to your axle plate.
Yes.
Dude, guys are selling these things for like $500 fucking dollars. And I'm like, all it is, it's a diamond piece of metal or a piece of, steel, aluminum, whatever the fuck it is. And then it's the telescoping kickstand that you would get from Lowbrow Customs. It's the same shit, I could make mine for $100, so I'll probably end up just doing that.
Yeah, I need a new kickstand too. Fucking, I went 2 over on the front and 14 on the rear, so it has a lean, and it has like one of them Screaming Eagle kickstands that bolt to the primary in the rear.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah, so I'm probably just gonna get like a San Diego Customs kickstand. They're a little taller from what I hear.
Yeah, the guy that I got mine from, he same thing. He went 14 in the rear and he went 2 over in the front. But for whatever reason he did, I have no fucking idea. The kickstand was heated up and it was bent so that it leaned more.
God,
I'm like, dude, this thing's almost fucking sideways.
dude, that would stress me out, man. Like every time I get off my fucking FXR and I'm just leaning it, I'm just like, fuck, today's the day it falls over.
Well, it kind of brings back some kickstand PTSD with me because my FXR on my 82 years ago, the spring broke and the mount broke. So my FXR fell over. My 82 fell over.
Damn.
And I was like, yo, what the fuck? Picked it up, realized that it was messed up, and I had to put the forward control mounted kickstand on the bike because I couldn't get underneath it to cut off. I would have to do framework, so I didn't want to cut off the tab and then have to redo it. So I just kind of rigged it up like a dickhead, and it looked absolutely horrible. That's why, dude, even back then I was looking for those Arlen Ness kickstands because it would have looked way cooler mounted to the axle plate.
Yeah.
$500 for a kickstand is way too much fucking money.
Dude, $1,000 for fucking floorboards. As much as I hate it, at the same time, I'm like, fucking get your money, man. If someone wants to pay $1,000 for floorboards and You can feed your kids and fuck it. It ain't gonna be me though.
You know what? Listen, man, I agree. I agree 100%. You know what? You want to sell shit for that much? I totally back it. If somebody's willing to pay that much, then totally cool. But again, you're not gonna get that. You're not gonna get that money out of me.
Yeah, fucking like dudes selling knucklehead motors 17, 18,000. That's insane.
Yeah, there's certain things that I look for. Even when my dad had the panheads, and going to the AMCA swap meets out in either Ole, PA, or up in Rhinebeck, New York, seeing guys that want $1,500 for an outer primary or something like that, I'm like, dude, I can go buy a fucking shovelhead for this much. I could go buy a shovelhead that's blown the fuck up for $1,600, at the next swap meet. So like, why am I only gonna pay, or why am I gonna pay that much just for an outer primary? You get your purists where they need that part, so they're willing to pay that much. But fuck, man, it's I feel that it kills the culture almost.
I think it can go back and forth because like me trying to buy shit, it's like fuck, man, it's so fucking expensive. But at the same time, now the things that I own and that I come up on are worth a lot. And
Yes.
and I've had this conversation with Oliver before because the dude has like 80,000 shovel heads and he's always buying and stockpiling, and he's all fuck the banks. I put money in Harley Davidsons,
Hell yeah.
money's going to be worthless, but Harleys will always maintain value.
It's true. It's true.
They're never not going to sell unless the apocalypse happens and we all fucking die. Harleys will always fucking sell and they'll always be worth something.
Yeah, I mean, the prices fluctuate so much, but putting your money into liquid like that, putting your money into things that will eventually appreciate in value. I mean, realistically, right now, everybody looks at an Evo and is like, it's an Evo. But 70 years from now, people are going to look and be like, that bike is almost 100 years old. I gotta get me that. I have to have that, 95 Softail, which right now we look at and we're like, yo, that thing is fucking ugly. But in 70 years, there's going to be some 20, 30-year-old kid that is going to be on a 95 Softail looking like a badass.
Yep, and there's going to be a whole movement for them, and there's going to be a movement that doesn't even exist, yet. And someone's going to chop them up, and, it's going to, I don't know, man, it's fucking, you can't go wrong with Harleys, man. If you can buy it good, then fuck it.
Well, I mean, you have these guys down in Florida now doing the Sons of Speed races on, bikes that are over 100 years old. All the board track bikes and the flat track bikes and stuff like that. And, you think about it, back in the 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s, I mean, up until recently, there was only a small handful of people that are into these bikes. But obviously you have dudes like Mike from American Pickers, and you get Dale from Wheels Through Time, and you get these guys that kind of gain popularity off of those old bikes. So the bikes gain the popularity, and now it's kind of cool to be able to ride those things. You got guys like homie from 40 Cal Customs that's building old bikes like that with somewhat new technology, and they're fucking insane.
Yeah.
When we did the V-Twin Visionary Tour back in, I think it was 2016, 2017, this dude's riding through the Blue Ridge Parkway on a 100-year-old bike going up and down mountains, keeping up with guys that are on, brand new R1s and sport bike. It's crazy.
Yeah, fuck, dude. It just, those kind of people that can make those motors do that just are super fucking impressive.
Dude, I can go down that road for hours. Guys that are so in tune with how motors work and so in tune with fabrication and manufacturing and just the science behind motorcycles, it's nuts.
Yeah, it's fucking insane, man. Like sometimes I'm just like, why do I even fucking bother?
Yeah. Well, that's like that, I think was it Ringo's Chop Shop? The dude that made that Husqvarna V-twin motor?
I don't know. I don't think I've seen it.
Dude, it was at, I'm almost positive, it was at Born Free a couple years ago. basically the story went, Husqvarna was making single-cylindered race bikes back during World War II and shit like that. And they stopped doing it, and there were plans for a V-twin, and they just never got made because of World War II and all this shit. And this dude somehow got the plans for this bike and just had the plans, didn't even have the bike.
I know exactly what you're talking about. I watched him on Instagram build that fucking thing.
Yeah, it was it's Ringo Chop Shop on Instagram. Looking at this bike when I originally saw it, having a guy take just plans for a motorcycle and, almost 60, 70 years later, just build the whole fucking thing, that's mind-blowing to me.
Yeah.
That is literal fucking rocket science to me.
Yeah.
And, that's the stuff that kind of makes me fall in love with motorcycles all over again. The sheer brilliance of what goes into every one of those bikes.
Yeah, dude. Have you been paying attention to that dude Hawk at Vintage Technologies?
No, I haven't.
Dude, his bikes, I'm sure you've seen his bikes, dude, but he does some insane shit. Like, he had that blue shovel at Born Free that was super fucking long, and everything was like you could see all the internals working.
Oh, dude, I saw that at the Paradise Road show in Palm Springs.
Yeah, that dude. And before that, he did that Ironhead, the white one, Dyslexia, and everything was like backwards on it.
Dude, it just blows my mind, man.
Yeah, dude. And like fucking the bikes that him and JP Rodman are building right now are fucking insane.
Yeah, there's so many builders out there that don't get enough recognition for the things that they do, and like I said, the sheer brilliance of the mechanics that go into that and the design, and it just blows my mind. Even you got guys up in New York like Paul Cox, who he worked with Indian Larry for years, and then now he makes knives, he does leather work, which is fucking impeccable, and the guy's still building bikes, the guy's still working on bikes, doing all this shit. And I think it was like 5 years ago or something like that, he went out to Born Free with it was an open head valve shovel, I think it was. It was either an open head valve shovel or an open valve panhead or something like that. And dude, everything, just like that Vintage Technologies bike, everything was just open. Not as open as that bike, that thing's insane. But in order to kind of reverse engineer a rocker box to where it's not oiled at all and it's all on pivot points and stuff like that, dude, it blows my mind.
Yeah, dude, it's fucking insane. Like, I love looking at all the fucking bikes that they build and all the new shit because they're constantly fucking like setting the bar,
Yeah, it's stuff that I could never fathom in my brain.
Yeah, that's the kind of shit that like you and I probably could never do because we don't have that vision or the fucking craftsmanship that's been instilled in their fucking genes, dude.
Or the patience.
Or the patience, exactly, man. Some of those dudes can look at shit and they just know, yep, that's what I'm going to do. Oh, it needs to be this, it needs to be that. Like, fucking, I can't do that.
That's pretty much with anything. That's with tattooing, that's with playing guitar, that's with leatherwork, that's with, touring. You have guys like that even though they're so mechanically inclined, they probably can't draw a straight line. They probably can't sit there and literally trace out or draw something out on a piece of paper that has proper proportions because it's just not the side of the brain that they're using.
Yeah.
And everybody has their own set of skills that blow somebody else's mind.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. Like fucking I can't play guitar and you can't really draw like me.
Yeah, with all the leather stuff, it's like, all right, well, I know how to carve and I know how to tool. But if you turned around to me and you were like, hey, listen, I need you to do the drawing for it, dude, it would be very fucking hard for me. I would need 500 different references. I'd have, thousands of hours worth of redraws and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Whereas, I got dudes like you and Pat and like all these other guys that I know that are tattooers that are good at their jobs that can whip up a fucking rose in a minute and a half.
Yeah, you could do if you really wanted to. They're not that hard.
No, of course. Like I know if I put my time in, like, I could get close, but there's something that comes natural with certain things like that. It kind of has to be in you in order to have it really be perfected.
Yeah.
For things like what you do, you can get guys that can tattoo, and there's dudes that tattoo and girls that tattoo that are good, but then you get your fucking absolute rippers where every fucking tattoo they do is just flawless, and it blows your mind every time.
Yeah, no, I agree with you 100%.
So I mean, it's even with guitarists with me.
Yeah,
I'll look at dudes that play guitar and I'm like, fuck, man, like, why do I want to play after this? There's dudes like you out there, like, there's no fucking spot for me. Like, get the fuck out of here.
But it's, I've also realized it's like, I mean, because there's a lot of tattooers that are much better than me, and I'm better than a lot. It's just kind of just how it goes. But as long as you're a good person and you do what you do well, and people can see that you give what you do 110% and you make it look good, they'll fuck with you. They'll always give you the time of day.
And a lot of people don't realize this, is that you can have all the skill in the world, but if you don't have those other factors, you're not going to get to the same places that more popular people have gotten to. There's guitarists that are infinitely more popular than me, but I can run circles around them. Like, realistically, I could probably run circles around Chad Kroeger from Nickelback. I could shred way harder than that dude, but that dude has 500 other skills that got him to where he's at in this world. And the same thing with tattooers. There's guys that maybe aren't that sick, but their fucking Instagram pictures are sick, their marketing campaigns are perfect, they have the right friends, they have all this shit lines up for them, and now they're fucking on top of the world, and they're tattooing all these celebrities.
Dude, that's all it is. It's branding. Like, nowadays, I feel like it's branding first, talent second.
Doing the leatherwork stuff and doing the clothing brand stuff and shit like that, it's all about branding. It's all about marketing. If you have better marketing and better pictures of your stuff, even though the product might not be as good, you're going to sell more shit. You're going to sell a shit ton more than your competition, because your marketing and because your Instagram pictures are infinitely better.
Yeah, that's it, man. We're the age of fucking branding and marketing. That's why when you pop on Facebook, there's all these sponsored ads of regular ass people at home saying, "You want to buy the sprinkler system? Check it out," and fucking they'll have a video of it with their dog slow motion jumping through it, and then before you know it, you're order now, and it's just coming from Japan or from China.
Oh yeah, there's so many people that kind of diss the fact that people are making money off of that stuff, and people don't realize how big that market is, how big that social media market is, and how people can influence others. Dude, I watched this dude the other day, and he's like, look, if you can sell 100 people $1,000 product, that's gross $100,000.
Yeah.
When you think about it as simple as that, don't get me wrong, it's definitely hard to sell 100 people a $1,000 item. Yeah. It's not something to, scoff at. It's definitely hard. But when you put it into terms like that, you think, all right, well, I know 100 people. How could I get 100 people to give me $1,000 a piece?
Yeah.
And, luckily now there's guitarists and tattooers and, bike builders and all this shit that are figuring that out and saying, yo, it's really not that hard.
No, and all you really need is like that one product. That's it. Just that one good product that just fucking kills it. And then from there you branch off into a couple things, as opposed to having an online store with just fucking 30 different things.
Yes.
Have one really good thing.
Those business models work for certain people, but for others, you can get one guy that sells one thing, that makes one thing, but he sells thousands of that one thing. Or you could be the person that sells 5 of this, 5 of that, 5 of this, 5 of that.
Yeah, that just sounds like a fucking pain in the dick, man. I swear to God,
Exactly.
if I start another business, it's gonna be just one thing just sold fucking a million times.
Yeah, it's definitely something to think about. Definitely a topic that people don't think about often. It's always that one thing, and you realize so many people hit on just one thing.
Yeah, yeah, fuck yeah, they do, man.
But we're almost at an hour, so I am gonna wrap things up just a little bit.
Oh, you're good, dog.
One thing that I want to ask you, or actually a couple things, have you been listening to newer bands, and if so, what new bands are you really jocking right now?
Oh man, I've grown into that old man elitist that I said I never would because still think Grimlock's the hardest band ever.
Dude, hell yes.
um, One of my buddies turned me on to this band right now. I think Orthodox.
Oh, good band. Very good band.
They fucking rip, man. Like I'm like, he's like, listen to it. I was like, no, I don't want to listen to your fucking knocked loose shit or any of that fucking stuff. Like it's not, it's nothing against them. Like it's just not my thing, you
Of
know.
course.
And he was all, well, try Orthodox. And I was like, yeah, whatever. And I fucking threw it on. I was like, yo, this is dope.
Dude, that's that old man mentality, man. And like, I'll say this, I was like that for so long. And, with the streaming thing and stuff like that, I was thinking about ways of different content bullshit to kind of connect with people. And we do this thing called Music Monday on my Twitch stream where every Monday I force myself to listen to every single release that comes out. And,
Oh,
dude, you'd be very fucking surprised. There's a lot of cool bands that have come out recently, man.
well, fucking shoot me a text of a couple of your favorites because I'm always looking for new music.
I'll definitely keep you in the loop because I've been taken aback so many times and I've kind of just sat in my seat, melting my brain, being like, fuck, why did I wait so long? So obviously, I'll definitely hit you up with, a small list of some of my favorites.
Yeah,
But
dude.
besides that, during the quarantine and all this shit, what are you doing to keep yourself busy, promote yourself, do your thing? Are you still jamming all the Gold English stuff? I'm
Yeah,
assuming so, yes.
yeah. I'm still doing the brand. It's just it's just hard right now with how everything's going. So I'm just kind of taking it easy right now. I'm at home. I'm either in my shop working on one of my bikes or drawing. I don't know. I do a lot of different shit just to keep my mind going because once I fall stagnant, I start fucking going to war with myself. So I do a lot of random shit.
I'm the same way, man. If I sit too long, I'm just like, fuck this. And I just get into a funk and I get miserable.
Yeah, dude. And then I get mad and then I blame everyone else and I'm just like, no, fuck that. Don't blame yourself. Just remove yourself from the situation and create a new one.
There you go, dude. That's all you can do.
Yeah, I'm a huge advocate on removing yourself from a situation if you don't like it and redoing it.
Oh yeah, that's the best way to approach situations. It's like, all right, well, if I'm not vibing with this, I'm gonna remove myself, and do my own thing.
Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with that. Everyone freaks out. And I'm just like, nah. You got 24 hours in the day, and the time on this earth is limited. So fucking make it count. As cliche as that sounds, fucking remove yourself and find another situation. If that one fucking sucks, find another situation until something works.
Yeah, dude. Listen, I 100% back that. I 100% back that, and I can't agree more. But, dude, thank you so much for fucking hanging out for the last hour and bullshitting. I appreciate it, man, and hopefully we can rip sometime soon. When this is all over, you're gonna have to come out to Long Island, and we're gonna have to ride out to Montauk and get some lobster rolls.
Dude, I'm down, man. And I've told Pat if you guys got like a weekend or a week run, man, call me and I'll just come do merch.
Dude, I would love that, man. I would love to hang out.
I'd fucking sell everything.
Hell yeah, dude. That's that hustle mentality, man. That's that salesman mentality.
Fuck yeah, dude. Well, shit, man. I appreciate you including me on the podcast, dude. Hopefully, we got enough content for your people not to be fucking bored.
100%. 100%. You're golden, man.
Dope. All right, man. Well, shit. It's good talking to you, dude. And I'll see you on the text.
Hell yeah, dude. I will talk to you soon. I appreciate it.
All right, later, dude.
Later, bud. All right, everybody. That about wraps it up for this episode of the Thrash and Throttle podcast. If you want to follow Tony on Instagram, it's just at Tony_Medellin Tattoo. You can follow his clothing brand at Gold English Goods on Instagram as well. Don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe to Thrash and Throttle on whatever social media platform you prefer. We're pretty much on everything just to keep up with what we're doing. Thanks again for listening, and I will see you guys next time.